When I first was contacted about this lecture, I envisioned an elaborate participatory performance. However, I was told that my compensation would be opportunity. In art, I believe the compensation, the standard currency for compensation is usually money. And I think we can all agree that artists should be paid for their work. But I know of one profession in New York for which payment is opportunity, in which payment is time: comedy. Comedy clubs pay starring comedians in an increment of 5, 10, 15 minutes. Now, if you're familiar with my work, then you may be expected to hear something about the Middle East. But anyone standing here, just 5 minutes, lecturing about the Middle East would sound crazy and always end up in the same way: conspiracy theory. Comedy can cut through this complexity to allow us access, and best of all, it's free. So I would like to pay my 12-minute foreword to my best friend and comedian, Suzie Afridi. You may have been hoping for a brown person standing on this stage enlightening you about the Arab world, but don't worry. Suzie is brown too. She is sharp, she is funny, and she is one of my favorite comedians in New York City. Suzie Afridi.
Wow. Wait, but did I hear that I'm not getting paid? Yeah. When Wafaa first asked me to do this, I really wasn't sure that I can do it, because as a comedian and as a mom, 2:30 is my nap time. So not only am I not getting paid, I'm also not getting my nap. So as Wafaa said, my comedy is a lot about the Middle East, but please don't expect solutions. I am more like an Arab dictator. I'm concerned mostly with myself. So I'm Palestinian. I'm married to a Pakistani, and most people confuse Palestine with Pakistan, which is totally understandable, right? Because Americans only learn the geography of a country after it gets bombed. Did I say bombed? No, I meant when it gets democracy and freedom. No, I find it really offensive when people confuse Palestinians with Pakistanis, because we are very different kinds of terrorists. A huge difference. I think my people were on the first season of Homeland, and the Pakistanis didn't come on until the 4th season. Now, there's a really big cultural difference between us. My husband is Asian, so he has that Asian work ethic. You know, if one can do it, then I can do it. And if no one can do it, then I must do it. And I mean, this is Asian week, right? So you guys know this. And I have the Arab work ethic, which is, if one can do it, let him do it. And if no one can do it, ya habibi, how can I do it? Disclaimer, I didn't come up with this, you guys. This is Arab Anthropology 101. And yeah, you guys deserve more. It's cold here, but this jacket used to close. Used to it. But ever since I turned 40, I gained 15 pounds. I think my metabolism just developed an Arab work ethic. It just stopped working, like Mel Gibson. And the thing is, I gain weight like here first, and I lose weight here last. So this, I don't know, we'll just call it a situation, just keeps hopelessly expanding, like the Israeli settlements. I'm just joking. Just joking. There's hope for my thighs. Because I hired a personal trainer, and she is Israeli, because I only function on fear. That's it, yeah. Pro tip, you guys, the best thing about having an Israeli trainer is that you don't have to do cardio. So I just let her talk and my heart rate rises. Can I vent to you guys? I'm going to vent now, okay. That's why I'm here. So my husband used to be a creative director in advertising, making good money, life was good. And then one day he quit his job to become an artist. And at the time I thought, it's okay, Suzie, like he will brand himself and he will be the next Jeff Koons. Because if Jeff Koons can do it, then Suzie Afridi can do it. That's his name, by the way, in case anyone here is interested in acquiring his art. I learned that you can't use the word buy, you have to say acquire. So 3 years later, no savings, gone. No salary, and no fucking Jeff Koons. And so I sat him down and I said, honey, I'm starting to worry. And then he answers me back in his like slow and stoned way. He goes, honey, don't worry, just focus on the journey. I'm like, okay, I am a Palestinian woman. I was uprooted from my homeland, forced to move thousands of miles away. I've had my journey. I've had my journey. But you know, don't get me wrong, I'm a modern woman. I don't expect my husband to be the only one bringing home the halal bacon. This year alone, I made $200. Not today, Wafaa, today. You know the old adage, the old saying that tragedy plus time equals comedy? So in our case, it's art plus comedy equals poverty. So we're at the Guggenheim, so I have to do one Jewish joke. I grew up in the West Bank, and any Palestinians here would relate to this. You know, growing up, we were told that Jews control government, finance, media, art. And then when I moved to the Upper West Side, and I know that's funny because it's just me and the halal card, guys. And my kid brought home his first school calendar, I realized, wow, I grew up with a terrible lie. How can these people control all these industries? They take too many holidays. They are the only people who have a website, isitAJewishholidaytoday.com. My parents are Christian, they are Christian Arabs, so in our home for breakfast we were fed Jewish conspiracy theories. And then for lunch we were fed a healthy dose of Islamophobic horror stories. That's why they give us white names. Like, people often ask me if my real name is Fatima or Khadija, but it's not, it's really Suzie. It's like a message for the Muslim boys to stay away. It's kind of like name hijab. My sister, who looks way more Arab than me, her name is Jane, but her eyebrows alone speak Arabic. And my favorite name that they butcher is Victoria. There is no V in Arabic, there's only a fa, and there's only an F, and we sound it out as fa. So good luck keeping Muslim boys away when you call your daughter Factoria. So basically, to summarize, this is like a little TED Talk portion of the show. When a Christian Arab girl falls in love with a Muslim, she's either disowned, or her mother gets a heart attack, or her father kills her in an honor killing. So you guys can imagine how scared I was when I fell in love with a Pakistani. It wasn't easy, but somehow I did it. And I'm actually writing a book about my experience, and it's titled, I Married a Muslim and No One Died. I had to have 2 weddings in 2 countries. Before going to Pakistan, I converted to Islam. Like, I didn't really have to. It's just that Pakistanis have never heard of a Christian Palestinian other than, you know, that guy, the community organizer, what's his name? Jesus. I don't know, has anyone here converted to Islam? No? I like asking that question because that's my idea of fun. Like, I like taking a poll, although now we know polls mean nothing. And so, I'll confess to you guys, I converted, but I don't really practice. So I feel like I downloaded the app, but I haven't really played with it. Speaking of apps, I was working on an app to connect moms with babysitters. And it's like a LinkedIn meets Uber. And then halfway through building this app, I found this other mom in Colorado who built the same exact thing. And so right away, I called up my partner and I said, hey, if she can do it, let her do it. I don't want to do it. So it never dawned on me that terror could be genetic until I had a kid. He is 9 and a terrorist. No, he's more like an Israeli settler. He occupies our space, uses up all our resources, and then blames us when things go wrong. Recently, last month, we took him to Pakistan, and on the flight over, we watched this film, The Prophet. It has nothing to do with the actual Muslim prophet. It's an animated film about the poet, Khalil Gibran. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Halfway through, basically, I realized that a film can have too much poetry, and so I fell asleep. And here I am, fast asleep, and my son wakes me up. He goes, Mama, wake up. I said, what? And he goes, I just learned a new word. I said, what is it? He goes, dick. And out of habit, I said, wow, that's so nice, honey. Can you use it in a sentence? And he goes, you're a dick. And I said, no. Waking up, how about this? Waking up your mother, who had to have 2 glasses of wine in order to fall asleep on a 20-hour flight, is a dick move. So we arrive in Pakistan, and you guys have to imagine this scene. There's no tourists in Pakistan, it's just us. And we run into this aunt of my husband's, and she's like a socialite. She's sitting in her car with her handmaid next to her, and I'm standing outside, and I go to say hi to her, and she goes, huh, Suzie, I hear you've been doing comedy. And I answered, yes, I've been doing it for a few years now. She goes, go ahead, do a show for me. For a second, I contemplated doing a show for one woman in a parking lot at an airport after 20 hours of travel. Am I that desperate for stage time? Yes, the answer is yes, I am. I think she would have paid me, Wafaa. I even considered telling her my first dick joke. So here we are in Pakistan. It's a very Muslim country, and we haven't taught our son anything about Islam. Like, he doesn't know if it's a religion, if it's a fabric, if it's a sports team. Can you imagine? Go Muslims. And we go to visit my husband's uncle, who runs a school. Now, this guy is an alcoholic, but that is like another story for another field meeting, thinking practice. I'm just taking you guys through my thinking practice. And this guy offers our son a trophy if he answers just one trivia question. And he asks our son, he goes, what year did the Prophet move from Mecca to Medina? And our son looks at this guy, and without hesitating, he says, all I know about the Prophet is that it's the worst movie ever. So we come back from Pakistan, and I decided, I'm going to learn Pashto, my husband's language, because that is all my in-laws spoke around me. And I didn't understand anything, of course, but I took it all personally. And that's exactly what we have to look forward to for the next 4 years. Trump doesn't understand anything, but he takes everything personally. His foreign language is reason. So I go out and get a book. And you guys have to understand that Pashto is a language that is only spoken by the Taliban and my mother-in-law. And she's meaner. I'm more scared of her. And this book was obviously written by the CIA. So all of the sample questions were like violent. There were things like, where are the weapons? Bring the money to the house in Kohat by 2 p.m. Who sent you money from Saudi Arabia? None of it helped me figure out my mother-in-law's passive-aggressive proxy jihad. if I may, I would like to finish on a serious note, if you guys don't mind. So I was reading an article in the New York Times, and it said that in Saudi Arabia, they beheaded 160 people so far this year for minor crimes. And the craziest part about the article is that they're hiring beheaders. And so I sent them my husband's resume. Enjoy the journey, I said. You guys have been fantastic. I would like to thank Wafaa and Leeza. I don't know where Leeza is. And if you're interested in my comedy, please get a hold of me later so I can take your email. Thank you so much. You've been amazing.